Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Knock, knock, knock. Let's see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. I keep saying this is your reading for tonight, or good night, or whatever I say at the beginning. And it's not, it's daytime. And I feel like I have to tell you that because there might be ambient sound. I cannot control the happenings of the world during the day, especially. It's pretty dang quiet here at night, so it's not as hard to anticipate things. But okay, so you know what? I'm gonna bring this light in just a little closer because I feel like even yesterday, the reading seemed a little darker than usual. Having so much fun trying to figure out the lighting as the year changes. The light in the room kind of changes, and I'm doing different times of day, so it's hard to know exactly where to put these lights. Okay, enough about that. Okay, our card for today is the Four of Cups, which has to do with luxury. And, this is a card of abundant love, almost sometimes too much love, maybe. It can get to a point of obsessive love, being on the verge of controlling, It doesn't have to be romantic love. This can be for your job, your creative works, spirit even, we see this manifest in a kind of, what is the word? Almost it can become, I don't want to say toxic, but problematic when we become so sure of dogma, okay? And I think that's a lot of that's interlinked into, mostly we have an experience that is beautiful, moving, life-altering, and we want to share that with other people. We want people to understand how to get to the same level or place, or have the same relationship with the divine. And sometimes it becomes there's a point where it becomes a little misguided, I think, and we can try to control people, force people, alienate people if they don't adhere to some of the same tenets or whatever. And I think often, oddly, this does come from a place of love, but the behaviors are not love, right? So when I see this card, I think this is before any of that happens. This is like when we're in the part where we're having a real emotional, beloved, intense experience. And, and as many of the cards, as I love to say, we need to learn to temper ourselves. We have to manage our reactions, how we communicate to others about our emotions, our wants, our desires, and those kinds of things. But mostly, you know, go slowly with it so that it has time to be cultivated, right? And so anyways, we'll look at some of these. And I have to say, this is kind of well, actually, we'll start here. We have it looks almost like a what I imagine like a Greek goddess, or maybe a Roman goddess wearing the flowing what are those called, toga? I don't think that's the toga, but like the flowing dress, right? And reaching out and touching, and it looks like a goldfish. Okay, and so the goldfish is definitely you know, a very auspicious symbol. This is prosperity, divinity, love, something that is enduring. You know, these are the kinds of fish that we find in a lot of places. They have the ability to withstand, for the most part, a lot of environments. They have the potential to live very long lives. And they're a lot more intelligent than we imagine. So I almost feel like this is kind of a divine being smiling upon you, okay? Kind of, you know, the hand out, kind of feeding the fish, kind of smiling upon your potential for fortune, for success, good health. And, you know, I think that this is a very emotional thing for you. I think that these are things that you worry about, you know, don't we all, right? And so, you know, in some ways I think that you have maybe gotten good news, and maybe some kind of good financial news, maybe health related news. But kind of, if you're like me, every time I go in for a checkup or blood work, I catastrophize in my mind, you know, even if there's not a huge reason to. But that's just, I think of all the worst things, and I, you know, kind of ruminate and stuff. And once you get that news where it's like, okay, this is like manageable, or this is something, you know, this is better than I expected, or there's nothing at all, it feels very much like a gift from the universe, doesn't it? So I feel like we have that kind of, you know, a release of tension, okay? Yeah. So I also want to, and let's see, I want to look at it this way. So we have now two people, one with a sickle. The other one looks like, oh, maybe it's three. And it looks like, oops. And it looks like maybe a child in the front with a bird, kind of letting a bird go. And so I feel this is a beautiful and perfect timing, because this is, as I am recording this, the eve of the equinox. And this is a beautiful image of, you know, being out there harvesting maybe the fields, the gardens, whatever it is. And kind of the release of that kind of spirit of the warmer months, or maybe the winter months, right? If you're in the southern hemisphere, probably not reaping the harvest down there. You probably have sown it and are taking care of it by now. But I do feel like there is this feeling of, and you can see all of their hands are kind of raised this way, okay, and with the bird. So it is almost kind of a release of this previous spirit of the season. But I also think that this is a time that you are setting your intentions going into this next cycle. Maybe making appeals, saying your thanks, right? You know, if you partake in acts of, you know, devotion, or setting out like votive offerings, you know, a lot of people will be doing that in these next few days here. And so there's a lot of intentionality, right? A lot of love, a lot of hope. And, you know, I think for a lot of people, we really, and myself included, we have very long and harsh winters where I live. Even with all of the modern, you know, things to keep us warm and the roads clear and whatever, it is still a dangerous time. And all over the world, there are all kinds of weather events that happen, and these can be pretty intense months coming forward. And, you know, and I think we also hold that genetic memory, that that memory our ancestors, you know, kind of wove into their very being, which is going into either very warm months, you know, fearing drought and these kinds of things, changes in the harvest, or the growth cycle. And in going into the winter, of course, you know, there's a change in game, in, you know, if you have enough things to store to keep you going for many months, maybe there's a long winter, who knows, you know, a lot of different things to worry about, right? So I think it's kind of just, you know, as we watch the seasons change, it makes sense that we have a lot of hopes and aspirations, but also underlying anxieties, I would say. So, you know, I was just thinking last year, we had a lot of snow. I shoveled a ton of snow last year. And I was thinking, you know, I love the snow, but maybe a little, maybe like a few feet less. That would be nice. Like maybe 2 or 3 feet less this year would make me happy. But, you know, that's out of our control. So, I see that we're kind of in that mode. You are in that mode. And this is a beautiful formation for a beautiful time. Indeed, indeed. Okay, so we also have a Y, and it looks like an O. Immediately when I picked up the bowl, I was thinking, okay, this looks it looks like this is yo. So maybe a hello. Maybe you have made some kind of decision that was a little questionable, and the big like yo like question mark, like what are you doing? I don't know, but it could also be, you know, part of a name, initials. Yeah, I'm not sure, but if you do know, let me know. Okay, so we have kind of a backwards R, and we have a lowercase r down here as well. So double R or one R seems important. An R name. This seems like an R name for sure. And we have a pumpkin, or maybe an apple, which is timely for my family. We're going to go do pumpkins tomorrow. And this one looks like a bike. I have a feeling, I was thinking, it almost seems like, I almost feel like you are just kind of ready to go on some kind of trip, or you're preparing for a trip in the next month or so. And the thing that really is coming through to me as I've been doing this reading is that it almost feels like maybe you're going to see family, which would make sense because we are getting closer to the holidays. So a lot of people will be seeing family for the variety of holidays that are coming up. But I almost feel like there's kind of this protective instinct that is coming up in you. And I almost think that this could be like for one of your children or a sibling that is maybe a little younger than you. Like they almost feel like they could be your child. Maybe you were like, you know, you were born quite a few years before they were. But now they're older, probably. And I feel that it seems like, and I see like a younger person here. And I see a person here with their arm kind of out, like they're, you know, kind of reaching for them. And I'm not exactly sure what this is, but it feels almost like they are lost in some way, like you're worried about them. You have the instinct to kind of just like take them out of the situation that they're in, but I wonder if they're not like an adult, right? And you can't just like kidnap an adult and make them, you know, see the light or whatever. So it kind of, you know, it's a hard situation because you feel responsible for them because you are, you know, older, of course, or you're their parent. And I imagine I have a toddler, so I don't know about adult children, but I would think that there's always that feeling that remains to some degree that that you're always kind of their protector. You always want to get in there and fix things for them. You want to tell them how to do things. Maybe you've been in a similar situation, so you just, you know, you want to tell them and you want them to heed your advice, right? And but that's hard. That's hard. Life doesn't work like that very often, does it? And so it doesn't, let me clarify. It doesn't work that way that people listen to what we tell them very clearly. And I was the same way. I had to make all of my own mistakes. I wish I would have just listened to a few people in my life. It probably would have, you know, gone a lot smoother. But I was determined to make, you know, to get out there and make my own way and do my own thing and not listen to anybody because I thought I knew everything. And, you know, it's difficult when somebody you love just has that real headstrong kind of personality. At the same time, you know, if they, you know, get through it and they, you know, cultivate themselves as a being, these are often the people that have, you know, the most understanding, I think, of life. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people who don't, you know, ever get through it. They get kind of, I don't know, stuck. Like, what is that called? Like failure to launch or whatever, or they're, what is that? The other one. They're just like stuck basically in like one part of their life. They don't evolve as much as most people do throughout. And so, you know, it's difficult. I think that depending on what's going on, you know, you can't really force anything on anybody. But you also, the big thing is having boundaries for yourself. You have to know how much you can give of yourself, you know, without like depleting all of your emotional, spiritual, and maybe financial resources. So as you maybe get ready to travel, I feel, because we have the bike, you know, some amount of excitement. Being on a bike is pretty fun, right? But I think that there's still that anxiety about having to maybe figure out this situation. What are you going to do? Are they even going to show up? Are they going to be there? I don't know. You know, do you? I don't know. So, you know, it's hard. And I think that probably, you know, this is part of this lesson of the Four of Cups. We see the people in our lives who find something that they really enjoy, and then, you know, it maybe starts to take them over. Okay, whatever that is, you know, and it gets into that realm of, like I said, obsessive, habitual addiction, these kinds of things. It's easy to cross over into that. We see that more and more and more in our culture because so many things are addictive. So, you know, I think the big thing is witnessing this in other people, reminding yourself in your own actions, behaviors, indulgences, how you are living. And I'm not talking about comparing, okay? That's not helpful. Saying, oh, I only spend X amount of hours playing video games where they spend double playing video games or whatever, you know, and so I'm fine. That doesn't help, right? If it's affecting your life. So we just have to be mindful, right? And also have boundaries with people, even the ones that we love. You know, we have to take care of ourselves, and make sure that we don't get pulled into any nonsense. And I think that's the big thing. And we have here a bison, or as people call the buffalo, American buffalo. Okay, so one of the most beautiful symbols of enduring mindfulness, okay, being very intentional about your decision making, how you move, where you move, when and why, right? These large animals, not just the bison, but, you know, elephants, hippopotamus, whatever. These kinds of animals, they don't move around a ton, right? Because they burn a lot of calories when they do. And they have to feed a lot. They have to drink a lot of water. They often are kind of in, you know, kind of sitting or standing with their families, their little crew. And so when I look at them, I think, you know, these are animals that are very thoughtful about what they do with themselves. And the other thing is pretty chill, right? Restful, mild-tempered, just kind of live and let live, unless they are pushed, right? If you keep pushing them and you know, it's kind of like stepping up to them. They're going to charge and they're going to trample you probably. So, you know, I think that this is a vibe for you. I think that this is not, I think as I'm saying this, you're probably thinking, okay, that's me, right? I like to get along, go along, kind of do my own thing. You know, I'm not trying to be in conflict with anybody. I care a lot about those who are in my life. But if somebody's going to continually disrespect me to me or be confrontational with me, you know, you're going to stand up for yourself. So, let's see, what else? We don't have a lot over here, but it looks like we have two people, but they also look like flames. So I feel like we have a sense of coming together with, and maybe this is seeing your family, or maybe somebody that is like a best friend, somebody that's like a soulmate, kind of meeting together, feeling like you are at home, right? Have you ever felt that, where you haven't seen somebody for a while? They always have been that person for you that you just feel comfortable with. Maybe life has taken you different directions, but whenever you do get together, it's like being home again. Well, I think that's kind of the meeting that you're going to be having, and I think it will really ease your heart and mind. I think that when we think about things, listen, when I think about going to holidays and some of the people going, I haven't seen them in a year probably, or even more, and I can start to worry. Oh, what if they say something, or what if they show up and they're acting like this, and for weeks I can think about that. And then, the thing comes around and everybody just kind of is happy to see each other. Nobody's in that mood to fight. There's not the conflict. If there is, it's minor. It's away from you. You're not involved. You maybe get to see, maybe you're going back to your hometown or something. You get to see some of your friends, see their families, their kids, whatever. And all of that, all of those like worries are tamed immediately. Okay. And I think that, that happens for a lot of us, kind of are like, oh, the holidays again. Right. But yeah, I think this is going to start to be ramping up to a good time. There's a lot of stuff that comes up in the fall and, well, in the spring, I'm sure, in the Southern Hemisphere as well. And, hopefully it'll be a peaceful one. All right, let's do this gratitude card real quick. We have the gratitude, a little deck of appreciation. And I'm just gonna... Here we go. We have some nice little plants there. And it says, embrace, is that the right one? Yes. Embrace challenges. Each obstacle is an opportunity for growth. There you go. Embrace the obstacles of your family. No, I'm kidding. Well, kind of, right? I think, as we're getting older, the other part of it is just choosing, are you even going to go to stuff? Who are you going to spend your special times with? I think a lot of people seem to have more and more chosen families. And I don't hate that. Because my family, I talk about my family is my chosen family. And, my husband and daughter. And, I think that it's, for me anyways, it's been a wonderful way to live. So, it's something to think about. And we're living in a whole new world, aren't we? And that being said, if you'd be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm. And that is the modern world right there, the algorithm. So we like to make it happy by giving it the engagement that it wants. And those are things like liking the video, sharing the readings on other social media platforms, watching the readings from the beginning to the end. What else? If you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And if you want to leave a comment, please do. I read all of them, and they all mean a lot to me. So with that being said, happy equinox, spring, fall, wherever you are. I love you. We will talk in just a few days.